Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to what is round five of the AEC TRS Championship. I am not alone, finally. Two races on my own, but I have got my good old friend, Mr. Jamie Rose, back in with me tonight of what is going to be, hopefully, a fantastic race before we have a week's break. So, good evening to you, Jamie. Thanks again for coming back.
No problem. Pleasure to be back. You can't get rid of me that easy, mate. I'm like a bad smell. I'm always about.
I mean, if bad smells are to go by, then I'm in my freaking dressing gown, so nobody needed to know that, but everyone got to know that anyway. But yeah, legendary Spa-Francorchamps, round five of the season. Hopefully, these 20 drivers that we've got on here tonight of what is a very interesting grid. A lot of different people compared to what we've had the last few weeks. Some teams have still got the same drivers in, such as FGEIC running typical and Ollie Hornby again, but quite a few teams I can see, Jamie, running two completely different drivers from what we've seen for most of the season.
Yeah, it's good to see some mixed up drivers compared with the regular mob to see how they get on. I'm interested tonight to see how Exotic Planes gets on for EVR and YS, his arch rival YS brand. I've seen those two come together plenty of times in the assists, so be interesting to see if they can stay away from each other tonight.
Yeah, that certainly will be interesting to see if that is the case. Obviously, qualifying shouldn't be any issues. Ghosting is on, so hopefully people should, will be respectful, and no one's should really get in each other's way. But obviously, here we are in the Ardennes Forest. Like I said, one of the most legendary tracks on the calendar. Agonize is the first driver to take us around this extremely long lap, but like I said, it's a fantastic circuit. Certainly, there's one of my bucket list of tracks to go to. Don't know about yourself, Jamie, but it's you can't get rid of it. It's like unfortunately, it's not like a bad smell, like like you've said for yourself. It's a very good smell that hopefully will stick around in for many years to come.
Yeah, I think I got two bucket list tracks. I think Monza's one of them, and the other one I'd like to go to Paul Ricard in France. That'd be
Ah,
another one for me. I do miss that track on the game.
yeah, I didn't mind Paul Ricard, to be honest, actually. But for me, obviously, yeah, it's here. Obviously, Monza. I would like to go to the Red Bull Ring as well, but also Le Mans. You've got to go to Le Mans. If you
Yeah.
as a proper die-hard fan, you have to go to Le Mans. But here we go. Agonize is going to be the first driver to get us underway on this 20-corner circuit. The extremely long lap, roughly looking at what 140s, 141s. I can't remember exactly, but at least it's dry, which is something you don't normally expect for Spa. It's kind of like the British weather, and you just don't know what it's going to throw up to you. But as we come up the hill, up through Eau Rouge and Radion now and down along the Kemmel Straight. It's just a case of just moving over to the left-hand side to the end of this first sector. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of top speeds people are running. It'll be able to show us then who's got the lower downforce, who's got the higher downforce. As Agonize now comes through the Lacombe section now. No problems whatsoever. Avoids the curb really on the exit. As we now come down in towards Bruxelles. Heavy braking zone. Keeps it in fourth gear. Some people go third and short shift it. As we now come through No Name. I remember from years ago I gave that corner a name, and it stuck around for a little bit, and me and one of my good friends, we still do that. In through Pouon now, and in towards the campus chicane. Tricky little right-left-hander here, because you can easily go wide on the exit of the left. Hopefully Agonize doesn't do such a thing, and yep, no problems whatsoever for the FRT man, who I think is doing his third race in a row now. Through Kerber Porphyry and now on through the final sector. It coming up towards one of the, again, most legendary corners in regards to the Formula 1 in the entire calendar. In through Blanchimont, flat out. It's so easy now, but it's still an amazing corner nonetheless. One final braking zone to go, but the heaviest braking zone in the entire circuit. Into the bus stop chicane. Agonize gets the car turned in there nicely and in through the left hand. A little bit of slip there on the exit there, but just about gets away with it. And into 141.3 to get us going.
Yeah, good luck there from Agonize. I was just riding on board with Silo actually. He goes top of a 141.0, and he was at 209 miles an hour down the Kemmel Straight. And good evening to Mathis in the chat. FRT Harvey says it's good to hear us both. And then the Boberts mob are in early
Yeah,
doors.
I've not opened it yet. I'll open it afterwards because I just cannot be bothered with them right now. So I'll read all that later because that will certainly come as always through the entire stream. Going aboard with Niall coming through the final sector now for TTM. Allison, very unfortunate last week. He lost out on the win by 39 one thousandths of a second. to Shizu's Yanul, who just about kept that victory. Them two pulled away towards the latter stages of the race, and it was just a straight dogfight between the two. As now actually has abandoned his lap. He invalidated someone. I've completely not seen where he's done that. We'll now go on board with Exotic Planes. Driver you mentioned just earlier, Jamie, and as he comes up across the line, DRS open, and it's P10.
Yeah, he's fairly new to racing NA full time. A very quick driver in the assist scene. Won a few titles and many races here and there. Still finding his feet in the NA tier. Just goes ahead of his teammate Radius, another guy who's taken a break and coming back. So it'd be interesting to see how EVR cope tonight. Remember, he said to me before the race that his race pace is a lot better than his quali pace, so we'll see if that comes true. But P10 for Exotic Planes now.
Indeed, yeah, Exotic Planes in P10, his teammate in P11. Only 11 drivers have set a lap time at the moment. Quite a few people invalidated and went into the box. AMS YS Brand is on a lap. Whether he invalidated or, invalidated his lap quite early on, has decided to go again. Obviously, in fact he has done, because he's on his second lap on his soft compounded tyres. Obviously everyone will be on the sauce because it's bone dry, which is very surprising. But yeah, through Blanchimont and now in towards the bus stop chicane. I have now opened up the Twitch channel, and yes, indeed, there it is. Surprise, surprise, Chris, you can hear you in your left ear again. What a surprise that is. As AMS YS Brand goes into P9, just ahead of Ollie and behind Oscar.
Yeah, just watching everyone's favourite Biscuit in P15 in the Red Bull. 15-1 of Sector 2 for Bourbon Boy of XPG. Don't see him about as much anymore as we used to. He's a very, very busy man off the track. But again, he's making his way through Blanchimont up to the bus stop chicane. I did once in an assist race, in memory of Brushy Pancakes, call it the brush stop chicane. And Bourbon Boy into the pits.
Yeah, I think he did a lap beforehand, actually, and that was just an in-lap for him. As Lafitte actually went up into P2 there, and amongst all of that, so just getting ahead of Sam Texan behind Silo. 3 drivers in the 41 flats. A driver's not currently set a lap time, and doing his first race for Jizu here in AEC is Quantum, who's pretending he's French with the Le Quantum in his name. Personally, I think that's just absolutely... I won't say what the word I'm going to think of, because obviously he's my teammate. I have to be nice. But down the Kemmel Straight he comes. He's got a few, both Haas cars just ahead of him. Obviously, Lafitte's one of them who's just set his lap time. And Tails is currently on his lap of 30.9 there for Quantum through the first sector as he comes through Le Com now. Car sliding on the exit there of the third part of Le Com. I thought he actually lost the back end there completely there, Jamie, but managed to keep it together.
Yeah, very, very aggressive on the curbs there, and I've seen someone describe this gamer tag change during the week as utter woke nonsense, pretending to be French, the V-Card man at Shizu, but yeah, just making his way now towards campus, still very, very slidey. It doesn't look on rails, this V-Card at the moment, and lucky not to invalidate there on the exit of Stavelot. There was 13-4 for Sector 2. Good evening to Pesky. Good evening, Jay, as well. Bella Fox and ATX James, as you're watching Le Quantum make his way through Blanchimont and up to the bus stop chicane. Again, absolutely flat out. Just flirting with 200 miles an hour into the heavy braking zone. And he also goes into the pits. I'm cursing drivers here.
Yeah, maybe he should go on board with them, but perhaps obviously he wasn't quite happy with what he was doing there. And he's got half the session has already gone. We've got 9 minutes to go already, and yeah, we've still only got 13 times set at the moment. Both TTM drivers have yet to set a lap time. I think that was Tailsborough. I think it's got into P7 now. I'm not sure. I didn't particularly pay attention as to who that was. I was right. That's all right then. Good guess. But here comes but TTM currently down in P19 in P20, but Niall is currently on a lap. His middle sector I think was the 10th down as to what Quantum was on, and he decided to go and back out and go into the box. But Niall does actually go through the bus stop. He's going to complete his lap. Where's it going to be for the TTM man? The answer is P4.
The Wizard of Monaco. Can he convert his skills to Spa. We'll never forget that race, I don't think. Allison, his teammate, however, has had a absolute shocker. 2 runs, 2 invalidations so far, I believe it is, and he's just making his way through Sector 1 now. It's a 30.7 for the TTM Dutch superstar as he makes his way down towards turn 10. Car sliding, just pushes him wide at the apex, and then into No Name. Easy to invalidate. They've made the curbs a little bit smaller there, haven't they? Oh, there's a Ferrari off in the background there. I think that was
just
Samtex.
no, it was Turbo Tom's. No, it was
Oh,
Turbo
it was
Tom's.
Turbo Tom's. Allison then coming through the middle sector through campus now. And this car looks a bit more stable in that sector. We saw Quantum's V-carb sliding all over the place. 13.4, and now it's full speed ahead. Overtake is being thrashed back into hot lap. Fuel light flashing. He's there again at 200 miles an hour. He just flicks into 200 miles an hour through Blanchimont and up to the bus stop chicane for TTM. Allison Alawin, known by many, and he's cut the pit lane there. And gone in. So that's 3 in a row for me. They might be doing it on purpose at this point.
Well, I don't think he'd want to do it on purpose, but it's certainly not ideal, especially the fact obviously his teammates up in P4. He's down at P20. He's got a lot of work to do. I think if Samtex coming towards the end of his lap, he is indeed, but he's 3.5 tenths down and has invalidated. So here we go again, but a driver who has not invalidated is Shazuz Yanil, who's a 10.5 up coming at the end of the middle sector. Where's he going to be at the end of the lap? And he goes up into P2, 4 1/1000ths off Silo, and it's getting very close to the top. Top 4 now separated by 51,000ths of a second.
Yeah, one small error and it's game over at the top there, and we'll see that in the final runs, I imagine. The drivers will be absolutely sending it. And talking of absolutely sending it, there's Brushy Pancakes coming out of Stavelot into the wall. Lucky not to lose a wheel there. And yeah, he's had a mare there. XPG under massive pressure as Bourbon Boys invalidated once again here, Boris. XPG are in big trouble.
They are indeed. Exotic Plains coming to the end of his lap, only 0.5 tenth up at the moment. Hope he's got a bit more time to find the final sector. Yep, manages to find another 600ths and gets himself up to P11. For the time being, goes ahead of Oscu. But Quantum, I believe, is on another lap, and indeed he is. And once again, on the exit of Lecombe, the back end of that car is not looking stable. Maybe that's just how he likes it. Is that rear end sticking out? No puns intended, as he comes through No Name and down in towards P1.
Yeah, he's same corner, same again, and you might be right. Maybe that he likes that slidey setup as a Ferrari gets out of his way, Quantum, and he's just making his way again as I pick it up through middle sector into Stavelot now. And it's a 13.2 for Quantum. That's one of the quickest I've seen so far, and that's going to put him in good stead for this long sprint up towards the bus stop chicane. How fast, how good's his setup? It's only 195, 192 on the exit of Blanchimont, so maybe running a little higher downforce than some of the others we've seen. And is he going to finish this one? Yes, he is. I've actually commentated someone who's going to finish a lap. I can't believe it. It's Quantum into P4. And again, half a tenth between P1 and P5 at the moment. That is impressive.
It certainly is indeed. That is very impressive. Agonize just coming to the end of the first sector, 100th down, but still got a long way to go in terms of to finish his lap time. Samtex has aborted his lap. How's Lafitte doing? He's 3/4 of a tenth up at the moment, is Lafitte. So as he comes through Blanchimont now, but he's running out of ERS. They're down to, well, he's going to hit 10% as he hits the bus stop chicane. Not quite, actually. I thought he would have done. I thought he might have derated. But he's completely cut the first part there, turned in too early. And, well, maybe actually a good thing, because he might not have had a chance to do another lap, actually. He might regret that, he might not, but it's still P3 for Lafitte. Who was that? It was Agonize I was on board with just before, as he now comes through the middle sector, now comes through. So have a look. 1/4 of a second up here for the FRT, man. This looks good.
Yeah, just following Silo then through Les Combs, and he is half a tenth up in Sector 1 alone. The BRT man who has found just a bit of form recently. World pole in recent weeks. He's starting to find that form once again as he makes his way down towards Puon.
For God's sake, another Agonize gets another driver into the 41 zeros. And
Yeah, wow.
you can't get any closer. But yeah, we'll go on board with Silo now that Agonize has finished his lap.
Yeah, Silo could get a 40. Oh, hello. Just over
Yes.
1.5 attempts up for Silo then. He's going to flirt with the 40s to the delight of Pesky in the chat, no doubt. Diverse, good evening. Welcome to the chat, mate. Great to see you. And can Silo keep this momentum on through Sector 3 and be the first driver to breach that 40 barrier? One corner to go for Silo. Get early on the power. Overtake. He's just enough battery. And it's a 40.9, Boberts. He did lose a bit of time, but still a 10th up. And
Wow.
Allison, wow.
Just goes and smashes it.
Hello.
Hello. He has finally joined us and decided to get a lap time in, and a representative one at that. And well, Silo lost a bit of time in that final sector. I think he lost a good half a tenth there, but it didn't matter, and Allison has just set a new benchmark. And I think, to be honest, that's them two done for qualifying. They don't have enough time to go again. Shizu Yanel is on an outlap at the moment, so he will be the next of the top runners to set a lap time. Agonize obviously going back into the pits. He's in P5 now. He won't have time. I've actually just missed there that Oscu's now into P6 and has done the same lap time as Agonize. But you look at that, third down to 8th, separated by less than half a tenth. It's anybody's game here at the moment.
Yeah, that is absolutely crazy. A 10.5 separated P8 and P2. And talking of Allison's teammate Niall is purple sector 1. He's half a tenth up on his time as the drivers are making their way through the middle sector to start their final runs. Collisions off, so traffic may not affect the drivers here. There's 2 retire already. There's a car park behind now there, and you see in the background a lot of cars racing towards that line now with 75 seconds left on the clock. And Nail, the Monaco master, what's he got in the bag? Can he improve from P9? He's got all the skill, and he's a 10.5 up, so he is going into the high 40s as it stands if he can keep this momentum, Boberts.
Indeed, yes, obviously one sector to go, just coming through Blanchimont. Just make sure you've got enough ERS there, and then it's all about that braking zone as Silo retires as expected. Into the bus stop chicane there for now. Can he join his teammate on the front row of the grid? Can he displace Silo, or at least get himself, towards the front end? Where's it going to be for the TTM man? And the answer is he goes into P3 with a 41 dead come the end of it. Decent effort there from the TTM man. Yanel is actually nearly 10th down and has invalidated, so that is him done. Samtex there did not improve. Tails is currently on a lap. Try to see if anyone's coming towards the end of their laps, and the answer is not really. Quite a few people invalidated. In fact, the next driver to complete their lap that's not finished is Ollie Hornby down in P16, and he's 3.5 tenths up.
Yeah, Bourbon Boy will not set a time here in qualifying. Let's just check if flag is out. Allison's taken it. Can anyone beat Allison's 14.7? Bourbon Boy won't be one. He's invalidated, so he will set a time. As the first one to cross the line there will be Oliver Hornby, who makes his way up to the line. He was P16, and now he's P10, a 41.1.
Indeed, decent effort there from Ollie there. His teammate, ZMS Wybrand, retires. Typical is the next driver to come across the start-finish line as Yanel had invalidated. Where's it going to be for Typical? It's P3 for Typical out of nowhere. A very good effort there from the end from the FGE man. And, well, there's a turn-up for the books there for you. I think the next driver is NASCAR, who's actually 300s down at the moment. He's invalidated. Didn't see that. So Tails is the next driver, 10.5 up at the moment. Where can the Haas put himself? And the answer is only up ahead of Ollie Hornby into P11. We now have a Mercedes, which I'm going to presume is Exotic Plains, and indeed it is. Where can he go? The answer is he improves by a quarter of a second, but stays P16. Legacy Racing down in P10 and P15 at the moment, but Samtex currently improving half a tenth up at the moment, and that is actually enough to propel him up into P5 if he can maintain that. And it's even better than that. It's on the front row for Legacy Racing there, and Was that Lafiti? It was indeed Lafiti going P3. Quantum now coming towards the start finish line. It's P6 for the Shazoo man. He would have hoping for better than that. And I think, apart from Gergo is going to be the final driver to set a lap time. Less than 200 up though at the moment. Not enough to improve his position.
No, he makes his way up to the line then to be the final driver to cross it. Does he improve from P13? No, he does not.
I don't think he actually even improved on that fight. I'm not sure. Either way, still P13. Unlucky P13 there, I'm afraid. But some good laps coming in towards the end then. Obviously, Typical got himself up into P3, but in the end, drops down to P5. But it is Allison who takes another pole position here in AAC cross-platform. And this time here is at the legendary Spa Functional Circuit. Samtex there with a very good lap time, right to the death to get Legacy Racing up to P2. Lafiti there at P3. But if you have a look at that, 6 different teams in the top 6 positions there, Jamie. We're in for a very good race.
Yeah, and if you believe the rumour, I'm not going to say it. Yeah, very, very tight, very tight at the top. I won't break it. Not to 55 people anyway.
Well, it's nice to see that with the fact we've got 55 people watching. Good evening, hello. I hope you've all had a good day. I hope you've all had a good weekend. Obviously, it's back into the new working week or school week or whatever it is that you do. To be honest, I don't care. But it's good to have you all here to join us. Both Bobbert and Jamie here in the box for hopefully some very good action as we're going to now wait about 10 years until we get going.
Yeah, I'm just getting the screenshots ready so I can set the grid. I don't host lobbies very often, but I am prepared tonight. Prepared. I've got the grids here, ready to go.
That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to see. Good evening to you, Aidan, in the chat there, saying hello to both of us. Meggie, nice to see you as well, I suppose. I suppose I have to be nice to you since you are my boss. But, good to see the fact, 59 people, or however many people is now watching the stream. Get more people involved, get more people here. Be nice to have as many people as we can. I think I actually set a new record last week, Jamie. I think, with last week's stream. I might be wrong in saying that, but it was certainly a good one.
I saw some decent numbers. Yeah, it was good. Good to see Matty Clausen. Good evening. Jay Ronaldo's only here because I'm being paid to. Who's paying you? Because I want paying.
I know.
Well.
I want in on this. He's being paid just to watch the stream, and yet we're not being paid to actually do the stream.
I do it out of love.
I suppose you could say that if you really wanted to.
I'm a JT Ultra.
Yeah, exactly. Some interesting lines being taken in. I'm not too sure if that's how you take the sauce. Certainly not by the Alpine perspective. Excuse me. Oh, did you actually see last week, Jamie, that apparently for the last race of the season, even though it's, it's Abu Dhabi, it's one of my better tracks, I've been told that I should do the stream drunk.
No, there is an idea. We could do like...
It's on a Monday, though. I have work the next day.
Yeah,
I do not want to go in hungover.
We could get involved. Like every time a driver invalidates a lap in quali, we do a shot or something. I don't know.
Oh, great. Then everyone's going to do it on purpose, aren't they? Let's get Bobberts drunk on stream. Yeah, why not?
Just levels to the game, apparently. So TF10 Tails wins the race. Now in P2.
Indeed,
good improvement from YS brand.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely a big improvement on there. We don't need to watch the bloody podium celebrations. But hopefully Jamie isn't as useless as I am sometimes when it comes to setting these lobbies up, and hopefully we'll be up and running in no time at all, as long as people know where the buttons are to actually click to move on. I would love to...
Would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, would be great. Oh, there we go. There's me starting to type, and then all of a sudden, someone decides
someone
listens.
Going.
Yes. I'll tell you what, if this is the finishing order, then what the hell has happened in the race? It certainly would be something if that was the finishing order, that the pole sitter's down in P11, although that's not... It's something that Allison has near enough done already this season at Silverstone, if everybody remembers that.
Yep. Oh, yes. But back to qualifying. LR have managed to pull something out of the bag yet again. Up in P2 with Soundtex.
Indeed, yeah. Shame that Toward Toms is down in P15, I think it is. So one driver up towards the front, another driver, unfortunately towards the back end of the
Right.
field. But and especially as well, considering that this championship
What do I have to do now?
is still very tight. But whilst you're doing that, obviously, I will quickly go through the standings aspect. And obviously, after Shizu's win last week with Yanil, they only scored. Well, they only picked up an extra point there because of Jerome's unfortunate incident towards the latter stages of the Dutch Grand Prix. But it is TTM still out on top. Picked up 26 points last weekend, so they actually extended their advantage over Legacy Racing, who's do remain in P2 to 15 points, with Shizu now only 5 points further behind Legacy Racing. But FRT have now joined into the frame. 2 good races in a row for FRT, and they picked up the most points last week at Zandvoort, and have now closed to within 7 points of Team Shizu. So the top 4 seem to be now streaking away from the rest of the teams. Got EVR in P5, then ERT, then BRT down in P7. I didn't think I would be saying that at this point of the season, Jamie.
No, I'm having a few issues here.
And what are those issues?
I've never done a custom grid before.
As in how to do it, or
I'm learning as I'm going.
You just press LB and RB and move people up and down.
Oh, mine's different. Mine's
Oh, is
Y
it?
and X.
Oh, mine's LB and RB.
I can't find people either. Where's... Oh, there he is.
Yeah, they're all just going to be mixed
dude.
up based off when they joined in the lobby, so...
The Quantum 6th, Nell 7th, 8th is Yanil.
Yeah, as Jamie has fun to finish that. Then I will just quickly go through, obviously, the rest of the standings. So yeah, obviously BRT down in P7. XPG made their way up into P8 actually, with a decent points haul from James last week. For XPG, actually could have won that race. I thought he had a very good shout there, but unfortunately missed out. But it still propelled them up from 10th up to 8th, with FG now down into 9th place, and it's AMS rounding out the top 10 teams with 19 points. But still, we have a long way to go. Yeah, we still have 11 races left after this one. Sorry, including this one, I should say. And yeah, all it takes is one bed race for each of these teams, and it just blows everything wide open. I would say we go through the driver standings, but nobody really cares about that because it's literally all about the team aspect. What I would like from you, Jamie, though, is to bring us some interesting weather for the race.
Your wish is my command. We'll have it snowing.
A bit of snow, yes.
as long as it rains BRT points, I don't mind.
No. So in fact, that case we're not. You said it was ready, sorry, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I'll get this lot to go.
Do you need to check it? Or do you want me to check it one more?
Well, I can't check the grid, obviously. Only you have access to that.
Let me just check it one more time.
I can check everything else.
I don't want to fuck this up. Atlas and Semtex, Lafitti, Silo, typical.
Yeah, you need to turn collisions on.
Yes. Agonized, Oscu 10th, Tails, Ollie Hornby, Gergo, NASCAR, Turbo Toms, Planes, Brand, Brushy, Radius, Bump. Yeah. So it's just
the collisions need to go on. Yes. Don't worry, I've done that before. I haven't put the collisions on again. We have to redo it again, and then you get completely different weather.
Collisions on. Oh, on.
Cool. Right.
There we go.
Tell this lot to go.
Real good.
Cool. We'll get this lot to go, and then ready up at 34 minutes past, which means that Agonize will not whinge and cry at me like he did last week. Why are we waiting 5 minutes? Because I freaking decided that we were deal with it. So,
at least you got an excuse this week. Rose is a fucking retard and can't do a grid properly.
Yeah, this is very true. Right, we'll load the just loading the chat back up again. Booboots will be the first one to retire so you can get to the co-op before closing time. It's open until 10 o'clock, I think, mine, Tom, actually. I've got plenty of time, so it's okay. Show them his new cup. Oh, yeah, on Football Manager, I won. Righteous Tag made a new cup basically and called it the Boobits Co-op Cup or whatever it's called. I can't remember the full thing of it, but I won it basically. I beat him on penalties, so I won it. And well, we haven't got rain, but it is overcast. So, is there a chance it could come? I don't know. I suppose we'll have to see what tyres people start on. I didn't actually somewhat go through the grid. So we'll go through that now, obviously, as everyone puts their setups and everything on. So obviously, Allison got pole position there for CTM, followed by Sam Tex Lafiti, then you got Silo, Typical, Quantum. Now, Yanil, Agonize, and Oscu was your top 10. Then you have Tails, Ollie Hornby, Gergo, NASCAR, Turbo Toms, Exotic Planes, YS Brand, Brushy Pancake, Radius, and Bob and Boy starting at the back of the grid once again. Jamie, predictions? Who is going to win this race?
Silo.
Just straight up Silo. No questions asked.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I would love to obviously back one of my drivers. You know, they are in P6 and P8, so that, you know, anything can happen, and we can see people's strategies coming in now. So maybe there isn't any rain due us, but we'll wait and see. I'm going to go with Allison. Not to be boring because he's on pole, but I think Allison's just pace, especially in the races, just that little bit better than Silo's overall. But anything can happen. Obviously, you know, DRS trains are certainly going to play a factor in this, as they always do. But we'll also see, hopefully, some good overtaking, you know, into the likes of Lacombe, into the bus stop chicane, even in Bruxelles. You know, it can happen anywhere on this circuit. You know, Spa, it's just endless in terms of overtaking opportunities. So hopefully these 20 drivers can give us a fun show.
Yeah, I'm proper biased with a Silo assessment, but I think anyone in the top 9 can win this race. I don't think a winner's going to be in the top 9. I can't see it being anyone else unless we have one crazy race.
Well, AEC always throws up crazy races. You know, it can come from anywhere. You know, we just have to go back to Monaco at the first race of the season, which I still personally think has been the best race of the season so far.
Indeed. I'm just reading about. They're having a discussion in general chat about LG TVs.
Interesting. I have a Samsung personally, but there you go.
Yeah, no rain. Fully dry race.
Well, that's boring. Right, we've got to restart then, haven't we? Because there's no rain.
According to the weatherman over at EVR, just touch base with a pit wall.
Well, that's a bit of a shame, obviously, but oh well, it is what it is. Better luck next time, I suppose, when it comes to the next race here at Spa. But the drivers hopefully should be getting ready up any second now. I did tell them to go at 34 minutes past, and hopefully, you know, 22 interesting and exciting laps for us to come here in the next 35 minutes or so.
Yeah, I did. Oh, there could be one thing worse. Matty 1929 has a league race at Monaco on Thursday in a realistic Haas.
Have fun with that is all I'm going to say. Could be worse.
GG's.
It could be worse, I suppose, but not much worse than a Haas at Monaco.
We're about to go. I can hear the countdown in my headset.
I mean, we're actually on 30. I don't have the countdown, which is interesting, but nevertheless. But here we are. We are onto the grid now, and here come the 5 red lights. There's 3, there's 4. There's the 5 red lights. It's lights out, and away we go here at Spa. DRS is enabled. That's interesting. We're on lap 2, according to my screen. Is it the same for you, Jamie?
No, I'm on lap 1.
That's interesting. Well, obviously, mine's obviously nice and buggered up already. But it's Alice. Because I've got a YS brand who apparently is in P1, but is actually much further down the field. What a great game. No wonder on lap 2 then. So this will be interesting.
Is it a prediction of what's going to happen? I can call the real action, and that's Silo and Samtex battling through the middle there. Lafiti is taking the lead from Allison already, and Le Quantum, the Shizou boys, has had an accident. Radius off as well, a nightmare for Shizou. Le Quantum down in 20th, Boberts. That is a nightmare for you.
Indeed, obviously turning into the Frenchman that he pretends that he thinks he is has certainly not done him any wonders. It has sorted itself out for me, so we are on lap 1 still, and yes, AMS Brand is now back into P14, but yes, Le Quantum, not too sure what happened to him. He's actually now dropped behind Radius again, and those two have now fallen off the DRS train already, so not too sure as to what happened between the pair of them, but it is Lafitte who leads out in front from Allison in P2. Then you got Samtec, Silo, Typical, now Agonize, Yanil, Oscar and Tails rounds out your top 10 for the time being.
Yeah, and everyone, I saw something in the race director before the race. Some people were flirting with the soft tyres, but now everyone is on the hards. Ollie Hornby makes it past NASCAR as well, but the biggest gainer so far is Mr. Bourbon Boy up 4 places. Gergo's lost 4 places as well, but the Quantum at the back, and he's got it all to do as we start lap 2 then. Lafitte from Allison, Samtex and Silo.
Indeed, as Nal was getting very close to the back of Og Albers. Yeah, McLaren in the background. I think that's Ollie Hornby getting caught up in a little bit of mayhem with AMS Brand and Turbo Toms, I believe there, Jamie. Is that right?
Yeah, there's major reports of Ollie Hornby lagging, and that's what's caused the incident there with Turbo Toms. The LO manager Beta in the chat reporting it, and I've seen it from FRT as well reporting. So yeah, you can see his cars all over the place. Look.
Ooh. Indeed, yes, that is quite possible. As Lafitte, as Le Quantum has already picked up a 3-second time penalty. We're on lap 2, and if his race couldn't go any worse, it already has. But Lafitte there dropped from 1st to 4th, going down the Kemmel Straight, and actually got overtaken around the outside by Silo going through Lecom. So not a good start to lap 2 here for Lafitte, but it is early days. Obviously, this DRS train will just keep everyone going along. A little bit of a gap though developing though from behind Yanel up to Agonized in P8, who's now dropped out of that DRS. And he's going to have to get back in there, because I think with Allison leading the train at the front, I think it'll be difficult for him to get back in it again.
Yeah, good evening to TTM Tez and BRT Justin in the chat as well. Welcoming his NASCAR has got past Oscar up into P10, and now Tails is on the back of Agonized. There is a break in the train already. The top 7 have broke away now, and that leaves the rest of them to fight in a train all the way down to P18 as we see a massive lockup of brakes from several drivers. And Allison sets the fastest lap.
Oh, bit of contact. Sorry, contact in the background. That was Exotic Planes going for a bit of a half spin. I don't know if there was contact involved, but that's Exotic Planes now down into P18. But it has brought Quantum and Radius back into the train.
Yeah, I think contact between Gergo and Exotic Planes, maybe.
Quite possibly, yes. Sorry, go on.
Gergo's got a yellow fuel light on, maybe expecting a safety car.
Unless he thinks he's not going to use that much fuel. But down the inside there goes Silo and Samtex over on the outside of Allison. So showing that the DRS is extremely powerful here down that Kemmel Straight. So Samtex now leads the way for LR. Silo moves his way up into P2. I thought for a second he was going to make a double move, but decided to think better of it. Allison now down to P3. But yeah, these guys are just going to chop and change a little bit. I haven't actually put the detail on for them, which is not very good of me. That's poor, actually, from my liking. As we've got some interesting chat going on here. Let's just keep it to a minimum, guys. You know, let's have fun.
Yeah, come on, Jay, you're better than that.
At least you can actually try and tell your drivers to say something, you know, to try and be quiet. Smeggy, why don't you freaking come here and tell me to shut up, boy? You know.
I'm just getting a load of stars in the chat.
I can see what's being said. I don't have any of that. I don't have any swear words or anything being taken off. But one thing we are seeing is Silo getting very close to the back of Samtex there. He's definitely got quite a bit more pace than the LR man. Obviously, yeah, slipstream, you know, going through Blanchimont is, you know, it's just going to propel him along. But he's all over the back of the Ferrari. His Tails actually sets the fastest lap down in P8, just showing there a little bit of clean. Oh, that was Lafitte getting too late on the brakes into La Source there. Taps the back of Allison. Allison did absolutely nothing wrong there. Just a simple, silly mistake there by Lafitte, and it's cost him 3 places. He's down now, back into P7.
Yeah, went to go late on the brakes, realised he'd cocked it up, hit the back of Allison, and he's right round, baby, right round. Unlucky. Down in P7 now for Lafitte, and Silo takes the lead of the race.
Indeed, he does. Allison back into P2 and Semtex into P3. So yeah, it's just going to be a DRS train swapping here between those three at the front. Typical now up into P4 for FGE. We haven't seen FGE up towards the front at all in the first 4 races, but Typical flying the flag at the moment here in Spa and doing a good job at the moment. Smeggy asking what care home I'm in at the moment. Not the same one as Jamie. Unfortunately, considering I'm afraid he is a little bit older than I am. As Lafiti actually gets a move done on Yanel there. Not too sure if Yanel made a mistake through No Name, but he made the move in towards Poo on there, so he's at least made 1 place back.
Yeah, just watching now here. He's got 52% on the battery. It's very, very tight. Who was that in the background? They had a massive wobble.
That was Tails.
Wasn't
it was indeed Tails.
Yes, saw that from a couple of drivers in quali, but that was huge. He done well to keep that car in a straight line, really.
Indeed, it was kind of like watching Quantum in qualifying actually. As there goes Yanel now trying to half fake in, half look down the inside into the bus stop chicane, but in the end decides better of it. Some movement in the background. A lot of movement in the background going on there. Got Brushy Pancake going ahead of Radius as Silo sets a new fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, I was watching this mid-pack battle between NASCAR, Turbo Toms and YS Brand. YS Brand's sent one on Turbo Toms into bus stop chicane, and Jamie's already a foot in the ground. Thank you, Smeggy.
I was very kind. I did see that. Very kind of him. Yeah, used to, not anymore. But for the first time, we've not had a change in lead up at the front. Silo managed to keep the gap to Allison, and everyone has stayed in position at the moment, apart from Brushy Pancakes and Radius F1, who are having their own little battle at the back of the field, as Ollie Hornby has decided he would like to join Quantum with the penalties and picks his first one up of the race himself.
Yeah, I'm just watching his lag. It looks a little bit better. He's got exotic planes now. We'll ride on board with him and see what it's like. It does look a little bit better for Ollie Hornby.
Yeah, just have to keep an eye on that, obviously, as the race goes on. And if there are any more reports of it, then, well, there'll be a connection warning aspect, I suppose, in any stewards inquiries that gets brought up. Bob and Boy, though, down in P14, has dropped out of the DRS of NASCAR in front of him. That's just weird me saying the name NASCAR, because all I can think of is the stock cars that just go drive around in circles most of the time. As much as I like NASCAR, but that's essentially what it is. P9 not really making any movements at the moment, just staying there. But Lafiti and Yanel both closing in onto the back of Niall, but Typical down to... Oh, he's just got back into the DRS again. He dropped out of it briefly there. Does he get the DRS coming across there? No, he does not. So Typical has lost the DRS, but he says he's 8 tenths behind. Interesting.
His rear wing was open on my screen there, and he had to use battery to get himself back in. He's in big danger of being dropped out here. He's only got 10% left. Typical needs a very, very good Rouge and Radion here. He's half a tenth away. He's dropped out, but he's still got it.
Indeed, but he's got no battery. And here comes Niall now. He's going to take advantage. You can see that. He's not got much more battery himself. But there we go. There's the move done for Niall. Open to P4 now. So TTM in P2 and P4 respectively, having a good race. But the pace of the top 3 has clearly taken its toll on Typical. And he dropped out of it, or he just hung onto it, but didn't have the battery to maintain that. And, well, they've now got a job on their hands now to try and close back in again.
Yeah, this is a top 3 opportunity then to drive away. And one thing I've noticed about Allison is he has stayed behind Silo for the last couple of laps, and that's got him up to 80% on the battery. So advantage Allison at the moment. He's playing the smart game, just holding it in P2 as Nail gets back into DRS slightly.
Indeed, yeah, the next gap that's appearing actually is down to Oscu behind Agonized in P10. He has got a bit of battery as Oscu. He's going to have to use it if he wants the DRS himself, because again, we know how powerful the DRS is on here down that Kemmel Straight. And yeah, losing it, and well, that's it. The gap's just going to open up, and you're pretty much a goner. The same with Bourbon Boy, but that gap's even greater. I think that those last 7 cars have pretty much had it now, courtesy of Bourbon Boy losing the DRS.
Yeah, now is...
Oh, contact! There was contact. Sorry, Jerry, to cut across you there, but there was contact there between Yanel and Tails there coming through the exit of the bus stop. I was going to say something completely different then, as Agonized goes up the inside at La Source. But Tails there just... I don't know if the rear just snapped on him ever so slightly, but he went into the side of the Shizou man, sent him sideways into the wall, and that is Shizou's race turned completely upside down now, and Janel does actually also have now damage. He's missing a left end plate.
Yeah, he's going to be absolutely raging. Let's see what Janel does when he's angry. Oh, contact there again. That was Exotic Planes, drove straight into the back of Janel, maybe unaware that he's carrying that front wing damage, and that could have ended in tears for both drivers. And you can see how much that wing damage is affected him there through Brachel's, and now No Name. He's having to lift massively. He's in Exotic Planes, and the guys behind really need to get a move on past this guy, because he's going to be like a roadblock very soon.
Yeah, indeed he is. Obviously, Quantum benefited there. He's gone up into P15. Gergo now, the new driver, after getting moved on Bourbon Boy. These trains are now, these gaps are starting to form. Obviously, you can see the difference in pace between these drivers. And Niall has once again dropped out of the DRS, and the top three have once again pulled away. Silo actually has got that gap up to nearly 0.8 of a second over Allison. Allison does have 10% more battery compared to the BRT man. But it looks like it could be Silo versus Allison versus Samtex here out in front. Now clearly just can't quite manage to hang on for the time being, but he's got the same ERS to typical. But yeah, that gap is just increasing as AMS Brand goes for a move down the inside of Oscu into La Source, gets the move done, but I should suspect that Oscu will repay the favour as they come down the Camel Straight.
Yeah, but DRS trick it may be, and look at that gap, 2.3 seconds between YS Brand and Agonized, and this battling that they're doing now of P10 and P9 is a little bit stupid. It's just, here comes Turbo Toms as well, so YS Brand down to 11th, and this battling, all that's doing is allowing the guys in front to pull ahead, and that gap 1.7 now between Nail and Samtex, and that's only going to get worse. I think it's a 3-horse race for the win in the early stages here, Bobbets.
Yeah, quite likely is Brushy Pancake now being the fourth driver to pick up a time penalty. I think, to be honest, what TTM will do... Oh, we got a yellow flag there, and that is Ollie Hornby going for a spin on the exit of Lacombe. But yeah, what I suspect is, though, that Niall will probably go for the undercut. He'll be the first of the TTM drivers to pit to try and close back in on the top three. Obviously, undercut here, extremely powerful, as you'd expect here at Spa. But yeah, that's the only thing I can see happening. EV in the same position here. They've got two drivers in the second train. So one will have to go and pit a lap earlier than the second one. But Tails will likely be taken into the stewards for that instant there with Janel at the exit of the bus stop chicane. I mean, it was unfortunate, but it was a simple thing that didn't need to happen. And, well, we've got one driver now down in P17 whilst the other stays in P7.
Yeah, he's
oh my word!
Definitely.
I thought that was nearly 3 wide there for a second, but that's Agonized going for a move down the inside of Tails, who was just saying, no thank you, I'm not letting you there around the outside, but Agonized will now have the inside in towards La Source as we start lap 9 already of this race. Does Agonized outbrake Tails into turn 1? The answer is yes, he does, and he straightens the car up nicely on the exit, so that is Agonized up into P7 for FRT.
Yeah, he's doing all right, old Agonized, decent driver. Ollie Hornby has retired in the pits, and I did make a joke earlier on in a Discord chat that said Ollie Hornby was evens with Paddy Power to retire in the pits, and there he goes.
Indeed, there he goes, as that is now Lafitte getting himself up into P4. So after that initial mistake that he made earlier in the race, he's managed to fight his way back up, and he's ahead of Niall and Typical, but he's got a 3-second gap now in front of him to Samtex, Allison and Silo, who again are just shrieking away. Obviously, they've just got that little bit more pace compared to this second train of 5 cars. Then you have Turbo Toms for Legacy Racing in P9, followed by Oscu, YS Brad and NASCAR in their own little train, and then you have Gergo, Quantum, Bourbon, Exotic Plains Radius, and Janel, who's still in this train, even with his wing damage there at the back of the field.
Yeah, Brushy Pancakes has boxed an early stop for the mediums. I'm guessing they can go the distance, can they? 13
Yeah, be
laps.
pushing it.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Major undercut. XPG known for their crazy strategies, and here is one of them then. What can Brushy Pancakes do? He's 29.9 off the back of the pack. interesting to see. But that gap now, Bob, it's in a lap and a half, is up to 3.3 seconds between Laffiti and Samtex. That is crazy.
Indeed it is, and well, here comes Agonize once again, trying to get a move done at the bus stop chicane, this time on Nal, and he's just going to be repeating exactly what he did a lap ago, as he did on Tails. Has the outside of the exit of the bus stop chicane, has the inside now into turn one. Oh, slides and completely locks the rears there, so he doesn't actually get the move done, or what would have just been a repeat move there by the FRT man, but it doesn't pay off, and he stays in P7 for now. What it has done, though, is Turbo Toms, I've noticed, has slowly closed in onto this pack to try and make it a bigger pack once again.
Yeah, typical, looking for the move on Laffiti then, and does make that move, and he's back down under 10% battery is typical. That's not ideal, and being brought up by TTM Aiden in the chat. Good evening to Hefty Ched as well. Good to see you, mate. What is this EVR cookery? Slandering his own team. Love to see it.
Indeed, here comes Agonized. Sorry, Agonized once again. Trying to get a move done on Nal, trying to get down the inside of Bruxelles, then round the outside of No Name, but now manages to hold on. But yeah, Agonized looking very, very racy. He's clearly got some pace under that Williams, and feels like he's the quickest in this train.
Yeah, he's definitely proving it as well. It's he looks like he just wants to drive through the cars in front at the moment, but maybe an undercut gets him there. I don't know. 4.4 seconds that gap. Now Oscu is almost back in the train with Tails in front. He's just back in as well to reconnect that train. And Quantum back up to P13 as Agonized makes a move in Blanchimont, Bob. It's an unusual place for overtaking that.
Indeed.
Oh, contact. Contact now has hit the back of, I think it was Tails. Carbon fiber was flying off. He outbraked himself into the bus stop chicane, and no visual damage, but yeah, that could have ended in tears. And we've got some pit stops. Indeed,
we do some very early pit stops. I notice Janil obviously went to the pits to change his wing and to get himself back out there on a fresh set of boots. Obviously, here comes Quantum, NASCAR and Tails also going for a big undercut here. I think they have to have any chance to get some solid points here. Nothing out happening in front. That's why we're not going to ball with the top three. The action is all in behind. Here comes Laffiti now on the outside into Lecom now. Agonize doesn't quite get the move done, but Agonize again looking very, very racy here for FRT, wanting to go for the moves left, right and centre. Is he going to go stick it down the inside towards Bruxelles? The answer is no, not on this occasion. But I think Niall actually clipped the back of Agonized and not Tails. So I think Tails was behind him as they went to the bus stop chicane. But he lost one place from it, I think, out of it, but nothing really too major. He's still there in the train. He doesn't look like he's got any damage. He's still got some good pace. But it has brought that second train, that train that was in behind them, now into play. And this has now become, well, obviously a few people have made a pit stops, but I think it's be an 8-car train now. Yep,
indeed. Laffiti up to 81% on the battery, so recharge rate high round Spa. Typical, still can't get anywhere near a decent amount of battery. He's still on 43% after being none through a lot of it, and he's just, I've noticed this, I watched him for a couple of laps. Typical, he just blips overtake like out of nowhere. He's just gone into the pits. Why would he blip overtake to go into the pits?
Agonized there, touching the back of Typical, just locking the brakes there just to make sure to get the car stopped. My guess is he thought it was under threat from Agonized if he was going to make a move into the bus stop chicane. Obviously nothing happening of it, but here comes, most of the pack now coming in for the new set of medium compounded tyres half the way into the race, take them to the end. But it's interesting to see what some of these drivers who pitted very early, what undercut they've got, because here comes Tails through the source, and one lap on those tyres, and he's now the head of this train.
Yeah, the undercut proving vital, and these top three are going to have to react. There's no point in squabbling now, these three. They've just got to stay in formation, I reckon, and just go for it. Maybe react to these pit stops, because they could be in danger of definitely Tails being there or thereabouts. At the moment, he is 22.7 off the lead, and that's going down with every corner. 4 temps gone there already. This top three, Bobbits, I think, are going to have to react and react now.
Yeah, they have to bit this lap to ensure that they've still got that bit of a gap. They had a 5-second advantage over Laffiti when they made their pit stop. And obviously, yeah, with the fact that Tails is closing in, you know, corner by corner, second by second, yeah, there's no point in risking it going that extra lap. They surely will pit this lap. We'll go on board with the top 3 for the first time in quite a while. Allison now leading the train from Silo and Santex. I think Allison made the move on this lap potentially. If we did, we missed it. Apologies about that. But into the bus stop chicane now. Let's see what the top 3 do. They'll all likely follow each other, and the answer is yes, they all come into the box.
Yeah, Santex ghosted actually going into the pits, but all eyes...
Sam takes it at the back of Silo, going to the pits. I don't know if he's picked up wing damage.
Oh dear. Oh dear, but all eyes turn out to TF10 Tails. Where's he gonna come out in relation to this top 3? The top 6 have all pitted. Here he comes across the finish line, the fastest lap at exactly the right time as he comes through La Source. Where are the leaders? That is the question.
They are ahead.
He's not done enough.
Not quite enough, but look at that one more lap, and that just shows it, the fact that they would have been in amongst this pack. So they've timed it just about right. They now have the freshest set of tyres. Obviously, they've got to get them up to speed, up to temperature. Surely Tails will let his teammate go if they're to have any chance of closing in, but that is not happening. Lafitte has the DRS open, but is only in medium and is not interested in going for the move. So I think the chance, or any chance of them to try and close in onto that top 3 is now pretty much gone, unless Tails can do some miracle work here and close half a second. Well, he's gained a 10th there through Bruxelles alone. Maybe there is a chance.
Yeah, I was just getting brushy pancakes in. He's just gone offline as well, so maybe he couldn't even retire in the pits properly. I don't know, but yeah, he's gone. Yeah,
a bit of a shame there for Brushy Pancakes, his teammate just ahead of him in P18, and what's not been a good day at the office so far for XPG. That gap is maintaining at 1.4. It's now dipped into 1.3 seconds. Excuse me. Tails, is he going to burn that battery to try and close in? The answer is, well, he's in hot lap, but he's got less ERS than the top 3 ahead of him. I think that is now the chance gone.
Yeah, just watching Ollie Hornby has had some contact with exotic planes during the race and is unleashing some verbal lashings for him to pick up after the race.
Indeed, yeah, that's obviously unfortunate, but look, we got to look, see this group of Gergo now joins in the 3-second time penalty club. It's the back end, the bottom half of the field that are picking up these time penalties. No such problems for the top 11 at the moment. And obviously, there we go. That gap now up to 1.6 seconds as out in front. Silo is less than a 10th of a second behind Allison now. And there we go. DRS and Samtex is actually derating. I feel like with him, I would just stick that in non and get himself just get that ERS level back up again as Lafitte finally goes ahead of his teammate with 1 lap fresher tyres. But there we go, that gap now up to 2 seconds, and any chance that he did have is now gone. It's back to as we were, top 3 out in front, we'll battle it for the win. But yeah, EV at the moment, obviously P4 and P5 doing decent job.
Yeah, agonised him, typical, having a right-o scrap here going through Bruxelles, and he sent it down the inside. Agonised, a fantastic move, another time penalty to someone in the bottom half, but Agonised up to P6, and let's see if he can stretch his legs again and show that pace he had in the first stint. Let's see if he can do it on the mediums as well.
Indeed, indeed. So obviously, yes, he's got the move done on typical there, as you just mentioned, and now can see if he can close in on the back of the EVE drivers. Obviously, Lafitte has got the 1 lap fresher tyres over his teammate, who'll probably try and use him as a buffer and see if he can try and pull away and get a bit of a gap to the likes of Agonised, typical. And now that gap has now well, I don't know what the word is actually, but it's grown once again back to Oscu now in P9. So they got themselves back in the DRS and have now subsequently lost it again.
Yeah, almost.
Indeed, almost as winner. Oh, well, there's contact there into the bus stop between YS Brand and Le Quantum. Quantum trying to send it down the inside there, but there just wasn't the space for the Shazoo man. As a bit of a fake there to defend to the inside, but Quantum now sends it down the inside. Well.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It was always going to end in tears, wasn't it?
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's all on the stream.
Yeah.
Oh, well. It is what it is. Silo actually now back towards the front. Silo now actually get the gap up to 6/10 briefly there over Allison, but Allison and Samtex will just be trying to just recharge their batteries. Tails now works with his teammate, and they're just going to swap positions and help each other try and cement this P4 and P5, I think, which will be a very good double points finish here for EVE.
Yeah, they haven't come to the party yet. Today could be their day, and I've just noticed as well, Gergo Fuel Light still on yellow. 15 laps. He's going to have to start lifting in a minute as he gets the run on Yanil then. Yanil chose not to change that wing. Bobat's in the pit stops, and he's now down in P15.
Obviously, it was unfortunate. Obviously, the incident that he had with Tails. Obviously, I don't believe it was Yanil's fault. It was just Tails just getting a little bit happy on the accelerator, and it just sent him into the Shazoo man and put him into the wall, which was extremely unfortunate. But yes, that will no doubt be taken in after the race. But obviously, we just have to see how that pans out. So actually seems to, well, obviously after that incident with Quantum and YS Brand, it's settled down a little bit now. This second train, not a great deal is happening. You know, they're just settling into their own rhythm with 7 laps to go, including the lap that we're on. We are already on lap 16 of this race. It's flying. It is flying by.
Yeah, what gap to lead is as B2. I don't know why you would request that unless you're trying to work out penalties at this point. But Samtex is 9/10 off the lead of the race. And Turbo Toms is 10 seconds off the lead. Is Lafitti agonizes there again. Contact wheel bang in there with Tails going through Les Coms. But agonized up to P5.
Indeed, yeah, we're on board with that with Agonize, who's once again just showing that he has got the pace here, and he. Quite possibly there as Yanil now picks up a time penalty. I don't know if that's his second one. But yeah, Aguilar's shown he definitely has got some good speed here today. I think at the moment I would arguably say that after the top 3 he has got the next best pace there for FRT. His teammate down in P11 all on his own. The gaps certainly are appealing because there you go. You got Oscu P9 3 seconds behind. Turbo Toms is not in his DRS. Neither is NASCAR, neither is Radius, and then he's got a little train in behind him. So these gaps have certainly appeared as the pit stops have taken place, apart from about the top 3 and then this group of 5.
Yeah, Turbo Toms has got to use a bit of battery to get himself back involved. He's down at 20%, whereas Oscar is managing it well on 80%. He stayed rich of battery for a lot of this race. He needs to use some 3.2 seconds, the gap to this little mini train in the battle for P4 in front. But the top 3 again, 60, 80 and 70, rich on battery as well, and they've now got a 3.7 second buffer to Lafitti in P4.
Indeed, yes, as a typical kind of, again, using his battery in strange positions and wanted to try and get him moved on as YS Brand calls it a day and boxes and retires from this race. But yeah, again, using his battery in strange positions, and this is just going to cost him now. He's got no battery and he's got nothing to defend from now there as he goes down the inside, down the Camel Straight. He's got much more battery to play with compared to the FGE man, and that is just an easy move there for now there. Get himself up into P7. Typical needs to really learn how to where and when to use his battery, I think. A little discussion for after the race, I think.
Yeah, EVR up to P11 with Radius. Makes the move on NASCAR. Good move for the EVR man. And EVR as a whole, capitalising on teams crashing out and getting penalties. Exotic Planes still without a penalty down in P13. So is it top 14 points?
It is.
So yeah, some very handy points for EVR if they can see this through to the end.
Indeed, yes. Yeah, obviously, Exotic Planes will probably finish P11 unless somebody in the top 10 was to pick up a penalty. Just interesting that, you know, you take out Exotic Planes and everyone below him has a penalty compared to those in front. Agonize got very close to Lafitti during halfway around this lap, but this is the thing. So Agonize, even with making these moves, his battery is at 90%. It's just showing that he knows when and where to use it, and it just shows that he has got the pace. I mean, Lafitti himself is in the mid-80s. He's led this train for a few laps now, but I do expect Agonize to make the move as Exotic Planes makes the move on NASCAR into the bus stop chicane. They're still side by side. I'm trying to get a good as a stupid camera angle here, so I'll do my own camera angle. But there goes Exotic Plains through now up into P12, and he'll have the DRS on his teammates, so he can propel him along.
Yeah, again, a couple more points in the bag for EVR, and funny should talk about battery. Typical down on 30% and was blipping it on and off, maybe out of boredom through the Camel Straight that time. Interesting from Typical. I dread to think what goes through his mind sometimes. And Exotic Plains gets past his teammate. Now up into P11, and he's got 3.6 seconds to make up to this Oscar and Turbo Tom's battle. Yeah, just starting a flat line with 4 laps to go. I think in a lap or two's time we got a yellow flag instead of 2.
I think that's Yano. Indeed, it was
Yano. Yeah, you are correct.
Yeah, of what has been a bad day in the office here for Shizou here today. The Scott. Oh, who was that? Who was that going completely off wide of Poo on? That was Radius there, just deciding that he didn't want to take Poo on as he normally would. He was getting closer towards Austria than he was to the circuit there, but still manages to stick ahead of Gergo. But yeah, bad day at the office for Shizou. They've already had a minus points finish this season, and at the moment they are scoring absolutely nothing again here tonight as well. Back up to this train here for P4 down to P8, and Agonize now we're leading this train now that he made the move on Lafitte down the Camel Straight on this lap. 4 racing laps to go. It is still Silo out in front from Samtex and Allison. Those 3 will have their battle at the end of this race. That will definitely spice and heat up in the last 2 laps, just to see, you know, look at the battery levels. They're all in the low 80s to low 90s, so it's still anyone's game for that top 3.
Yeah, Gergo side by side with Radius into turn 1. His battery light is on and off, so he's on the cusp of having enough fuel to end this race. He needs a big lift or 2, probably at the end of the Camel Straight if he's smart, but he's got the run now. He's just been blocked off. There they go into formation.
Oh,
he's going to pull right,
yeah,
to the right hand side. He's going to try and get both EVR cars in one here, and he makes that move. His fuel light's off. And as soon as he puts the throttle on, it might come back on again. There it is. He's there or thereabouts with fuel. It's going to be an interesting end if he don't lift.
Indeed, yeah. He's going to have to be very careful in these final 3.5 laps of this Grand Prix. I've noticed that gap between Allison and Agonize is actually now stabilised. So I think, again, it just shows us that, that is Typical. Trying to send it down the inside and now going into Campus. There was nothing going on there. He went for the move and... well, it was never on in the first place, and that might now cost the pair of them to close in onto those in front.
Yeah, Typical. He's an interesting racer. Audacious moves is probably the nice way to put it. Gets a lot of stick as well, but that was an audacious move that could have ended him and Nell's race in one hit. Luckily, the TTM man is still in the DRS of the car in front, and they can continue on. 4.4 seconds and Agonize too, and he's still so rich in battery. He's been my driver of the day, Bobbett, so far. Agonize. He's been in a different class.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, yeah, he's got the pace of the top 3 without a doubt. And yeah, if he just qualified better, I think he actually would have been in the fight for that top 3. As there goes Samtex now going for the lead of the race on Silo. Allison now going to try and make for a move around the outside of Lecom. And is he going to try for that move? He is indeed. A little bit of contact there made. Allison was just completely over the curb. I mean, Silo technically gave him enough space, so nothing wrong with what he did there. But that could have ended in disaster there for the TTM man. I think he should have just backed out of it, really. There's still, 2 more racing laps to go after this one. There's still a long way to go in some respects. It's such a long circuit. But that almost ended in tears as Lafitte now made that move on Agonize back into P4.
Yeah, strange decision to keep his nose in there, especially so close to the end of the race. He knows it's a free horse race for this win. And a strange decision from Allison, and one that he's lucky has not come back to bite him on the backside, as the Quantum's gone for a set of softs and probably a fastest lap attempt because he's showing a new front wing there as well.
Yeah, quite possibly that's exactly what he's going for. I've noticed the clouds have actually rolled in a bit more, and it has certainly got darker, but obviously no rain is expected in this race whatsoever, as Tails is now less than a tenth of a second behind Agonize. Is he going to go for a move into the bus stop chicane? The answer is no. He thinks better of it and stays in behind. And again, this 5-car train now all bunched back up together. What have we seen?
I've nearly seen a 4-car pile-up coming through Blanchimont. Oh dear.
Oh, that's what you love to see.
Oh, they're off the track. Gergo and Exotic Planes.
Well, I'm just currently watching. I'm just currently watching out in front because it's less than 0.3 of a second between the top three as we are now on the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. And look at Silo making sure that Allison has nowhere to go to get a move done. Samtex there on the inside into Lecom. Bit of argy-bargy and wheel banging there. Pushes Samtex wide. There goes Allison round the outside of Lecom. Can he get the move done? He's still there, but no. Samtex pulls out in front. He gets into P2. Allison has to stay in P3. This is getting. Here we go. This is the last lap and a half of this Grand Prix, and things are certainly hotting up.
Yeah, that Exotic Planes in Gergo was exactly the same as YS Brand and Quantum. They tyre locked out of the bus stop chicane and they drove off into the wall, and it's cost them both DRS, unfortunately. And yeah, all eyes now turn to this top three. Allison v Samtex v Silo, their last chance. They've all got full batteries. This is going to be one hell of a lap to finish us off, Bobbert, and I hope the high racing standards can stay through this final lap. Here we go. Take us away, Bobbert.
Indeed, yes. So here we go. Obviously, well, Samtex has actually used quite a bit of battery there coming through Blanchimont to just close that gap a little bit to Silo. I think Silo has got a little bit less downforce compared to the Ferrari. Allison didn't really use much whatsoever, but Silo is the one with the biggest battery here, and he is the race leader, but he will not have the DRS as we start this final lap of the Grand Prix in towards La Source for the final time. Lecom's later on in the lap, Adam, you absolute idiot. But here comes Silo now on the battery. He had a decent exit there compared to Samtex. Allison getting very close now to the back of that Ferrari as we come through up Eau Rouge and Rally on for the final time. I don't think Samtex is close enough. I mean, the gap's 0.4 of a second. He will keep closing, but he's now out of battery. He will be derating. A look at Silo on 50%. I don't think he really has to defend this. We'll go on board here with Samtex. There's a little half defend there, but no, nothing really happened there. And if anything, all that's happened is for P4. And there goes Agonize back into P4 ahead of both EVE drivers, but that was a bit of an anticlimax there.
Yeah, so all eyes fixed on this top three, and they are nose to tail as they come through no name. Silo has just got a couple of temps advantage now. Samtex is going to be under all sorts of pressure. Silo's got a light flashing 45% on Samtex and 50% on Allison. Silo is sat pretty with a battery. He's up around 90%. You can burn it all the way down to the bus stop chicane potentially. This race ain't over yet, Bobbert. A few corners to go. Let's see, take us to the end, mate.
Yes, final sector. Here we go. Samtex, he's got one more opportunity now. He's got to get close to Blanchimont, get that slipstream. He's burning that battery now. He's on the overtake, but look at him. He's already now less than 10%. He will be derating Silo. Look at that. He's just coasting in hot lap. He doesn't really have to defend. It's going to have to be a late breaking move here for Samtex, but he's nowhere near close enough, and neither is Allison. This has been a fantastic performance here by Silo. He managed that perfectly in the final few laps, and Silo takes the victory here for BRT and kicks off their season finally. It's taken till round 5, but gets them underway. And ahead of Samtex and Allison is your top 3. Agonize in a very, very solid and personally, as you said, Jamie, driving the day performance in P4 ahead of the EVE boys. And then you have Nile and Typical running up that top 8. And Turbo Tom's got the move done there on Oscar, I'm afraid, to get P9, and he's decided to leave. Oh, for God's sake, Oscar, can you not just wait?
Yeah, it really annoys me when people do that, and it's even more embarrassing when it's your own team.
You've got to put a report in as well for that to get you positioned.
Yeah, that'll be one up to the managers. I'm just BRT admin, mate. I post all the standings and the streams and stuff. It just means you can't do it until he actually gets done. It's obviously a little bit frustrating, but yes, that has been it was a anticlimactic finish there for the top 3. I thought was just going to be a nail-biting one to finish, but you called it. You backed your man, and he's got the job done. Silo takes the win.
here at Spa-Francorchamps. Exotic playing scheme being given drive of the day by the game, but I think we're just going to discount that because, yeah, I think Agonize deserves drive of the day here. Not that it means anything, it just means he gets a bit extra praise.
Yeah, there is limbs in the BRT chat at the moment in the Discord. Apparently Oscar and Agonized have come together at some point during that race.
That must have been very early on because I didn't see that. Must have been very... I don't know if it was minor contact or whatever, but still, either way. We'll have to see, obviously, if anything gets put in for that. But here is your provisional results then here for what has been the 5th race of the season. And it is Silo from Soundtex and Alice in your top 3, ahead of Agonized. Tails, they're taking P5 to 11th. The 5th for Tails is a good recovery there for the EVE man. Lafitte there in P6. Be ruining that mistake that he made because that potentially cost him a chance of a podium finish. Now they're in P7, Typical in P8, Turbo Tom's P9, and Exotic Planes up into P10 of what was a good recovery there. NASCAR in P11. Oh, we've got all the penalty finishes here, so top 10 without penalties, and then your penalty finishes, as we'll call it. So you got NASCAR, Radius, Gergo, Borba Boy getting a point there for XPG, rounding out the points finishers, and then you have Yanel, Quantum, and what has been a very poor day in the office for Shizou for different reasons for the pair of them. Obviously, well, I say about Borba Boy getting a point, Oscu should actually, I think he was P10 was Oscu, indeed he was, so he should get that back. And then you have Brushy Pancake, YS Brand, and Ollie Hornby, we are non-points and race finishers.
What a race! I'm glad I came back for this week. It's been an absolute pleasure to commentate alongside you once again, and hopefully we're around again next week.
We will be around again next week. We've got a break week, so
I'm not around nowhere then.
Exactly, or you won't be on here at least anyway. But yes, that has been. We're already a third of the way into the season, everybody. That is us for a break for 1 week. So you'll have to wait 2 weeks to get your next dose of AEC, where we will be at Singapore. So you've gone from the Ardennes forest of Belgium to the street circuit under the lights of Singapore. It doesn't really get much different than that. I hope you can join us, obviously, in 2 weeks' time for the next round of this season. But from Jamie and myself, thank you very much for joining, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you once again.